In a world where personal wellness, peak performance, it feels like it's everywhere,
Yeah.
right? Everyone seems to be hitting the gym or running or trying that new yoga class. But what are people actually using to fuel those workouts? What's really in those shaker bottles? So today we're doing a deep dive. We're looking into the, frankly, fascinating world of the global pre-workout supplement market. Our mission here is to really unpack the numbers, look at the key trends, and understand what's driving this huge multi-billion-dollar industry all across the globe.
And multi-billion is almost putting it mildly. The scale is immense, and maybe more surprisingly, the geographical shifts happening.
Yeah.
Well, they tell a much bigger story. It's not just about workout fuel. It hints at how societies everywhere are sort of rethinking well-being.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Let's get into some numbers that really show the scale. The overall market back in 2021 was valued at $16,762.5 million, so over $16.7 billion. But here's where it gets really interesting. It's projected to hit over $21.3 billion by 2025. And then, get this, an astounding $34,575.2 million by 2033. Nearly $34.6 billion. Yeah, that's a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of 6.219% over that whole period. Pretty robust.
It is. And what's fascinating here, as the sources point out, is how clearly these numbers reflect that bigger shift we mentioned.
Yeah.
Towards personal well-being, peak performance. The core drivers identified are exactly that. Rising health consciousness, fitness trends always evolving, and just this increased demand globally for performance-enhancing nutrition. It's not just about bulking up anymore. It's about optimization, feeling better, hitting very specific goals. Think about wearables, personalized nutrition. It all feeds in.
Right, that makes sense. So let's look at the regional players. North America, it's been the towerhouse, right?
Yeah.
And it still is. Its value in 2021 was just over $6 billion. 6,000.98 million, to be precise. Projected to reach 11,721 million, so $11.7 billion. By 2033, that's a CAGR of about 5.7%.
Still very strong growth for a mature market.
Definitely. And if we drill down a bit within North America, the U.S. is obviously huge. $4.9 billion in 2021, heading towards $9.5 billion by 2033. But Canada is interesting. Smaller numbers, sure, starting around $564 million, but it's projected to hit $1.2 billion by 2033. Its CAGR is the highest in North America, almost 6.6%.
Yeah, that is interesting. Shows real momentum there.
And Mexico's solid too, from about $504 million to just over $1 billion by 2033.
Well, North America's lead position, it kind of makes sense. You have these established fitness cultures, longstanding consumer awareness. It got in early, so to speak. But clearly, even in a mature market, there's still room to grow as more people adopt these lifestyles.
Okay, let's hop across the pond to Europe, another major player. Its market was about $3.65 billion in 2021, and it's forecasted to grow to over $7.1 billion by 2033. The CAGR there is about 5.8%. Pretty similar to North America, actually.
Significant scale there, too.
And within Europe, Germany really stands out. Strong growth. From about $807 million in 2021, projected to hit nearly $1.7 billion by 2033. That's a CAGR over 6.4%.
That's quite strong for Europe.
Yeah. The UK and France are also big contributors, both set to roughly double their market size. UK around $493 million to $1 billion. France $459 million to about $838 million. Although it's worth noting, Russia has the lowest regional CEGR there, just over 4.2%, so some variation.
Right, and those varied growth rates within Europe are quite revealing. It suggests different regional trends, maybe different cultural takes on fitness, gym penetration, specific sports popularity. Even within one continent, how these products are adopted can vary quite a bit. Local preferences still matter.
Okay, but now, let's talk about Asia Pacific, because here's where it gets really interesting. This is where the story seems to be shifting. This region has the highest global CAGR, over 7.1%.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. The market size there was about $4.3 billion in 2021. It's projected to hit nearly $9.9 billion by 2033, more than doubling. That growth rate is remarkable.
That's huge acceleration.
It really is. And within APAC, China is leading the volume, going from $1.27 billion to almost $3 billion by 2033. Their CAGR is also high, over 7.3%. But if you want pure momentum, look at India.
Oh.
From $706 million in 2021, projected to hit over $1.7 billion by 2033. That gives India the highest overall CAGR globally, an incredible 7.85%.
Globally. That's significant.
Absolutely. And we also see really rapid expansion in places like Singapore, Southeast Asia generally. Their CAGRs are also well over 7.5%. Japan, South Korea, Australia, Taiwan, all showing significant growth too.
So if you connect this to the bigger picture,
Hmm.
this boom in Asia Pacific isn't just about more people working out. It really suggests a massive demographic shift, doesn't it? New consumer bases coming online, rising disposable incomes, growing health awareness, maybe amplified by digital tech. These regions are fast becoming critical drivers of global demand. They're shaping the future of this market. It's like a democratization of wellness playing out.
That's a great way to put it. Okay, let's
Yeah.
quickly round out the global tour. South America, Middle East, Africa, also growing South America, from $1.3 billion in 2021 up to nearly $2.8 billion by 2033. That's a healthy CAGR of about 6.5%. Brazil's the leader there, heading towards $1 billion. And Argentina actually has a really strong CGR, almost 7%.
And you see similar underlying drivers there, right?
Yeah.
Urbanization, more information access, rising middle class. It mirrors some of what's happening in Asia Pacific. It shows this pursuit of, better performance isn't confined to just one or two regions. It's becoming universal.
Exactly, than the Middle East. Expanding from just over $1 billion in 2021 to over $2.2 billion by 2033. CGR around 6.4%, and the UAE stands at their highest regional CGR at nearly 7%.
Interesting.
And finally, Africa, smaller market overall, starting around $419 million in 2021, but is projected to more than double, reaching nearly $900 million by 2033. South Africa shows solid growth within that, over 6.2% CGR.
So what this all really reinforces, when you look at every single region contributing, is this idea of a truly global health-conscious movement. From established markets like North America and Europe to these rapidly emerging ones, everyone's part of this upward trend. It's a testament to kind of a universal desire for better health, better performance, adapted locally but driven by common goals.
So bringing it all together then, what does it all mean? The numbers paint a really clear picture, don't they? This global pre-workout market isn't just growing, it's consistent, significant, and happening everywhere. Widespread expansion.
Yeah, the key takeaway isn't just growth, it's maybe the source of that growth shifting. North America, Europe, they laid the foundation, they're still expanding. But the future momentum, the real acceleration, it seems increasingly driven by regions like Asia Pacific, South America, the Middle East. It signals this global shift, this democratization of wellness we talked about. So the future looks incredibly bright for this market, propelled by these universal themes, health, fitness, performance.
That's quite a journey through the numbers. From, what was it, $16.7 billion heading towards nearly $35 billion. The global appetite for these supplements is just undeniably massive and
Wow.
truly everywhere.
It really is, and it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Given this sustained, widespread growth, what larger shifts might we see in how people approach health and performance over the next decade?
Yeah.
How might these trends influence things beyond just supplements? Think about broader consumer goods, services, all aimed at optimizing us physically and mentally. Definitely gives you something to chew on.
Welcome to the Depth Dive. Today, we're really getting into the pre-workout supplements market. And this isn't just, about the tubs of powder you see. It's this really dynamic, fast-moving sector. It actually shapes how loads of people, from casual gym goers to serious athletes,
Yeah.
get ready for exercise.
Absolutely. It's become a huge part of the fitness landscape.
So our mission here is to unpack what's really going on. We want to look at the big forces driving all this growth, but also the bumps in the road, the challenges it's facing.
And the innovations, too, right?
Exactly.
Some really interesting stuff is happening.
Exactly, the trends shaping its future. By the end, you'll get why this space is, well, definitely one to keep an eye on, whether you're in the fitness industry, an investor, or, just interested in your own health.
For sure.
Okay, so let's unpack this then. These products are, they're everywhere. Gyms, shops, online. What's really, really fueling this explosion in pre-workouts? What's the main engine?
Well, I'd say the biggest driver, hands down, is this huge upswing in health and fitness awareness. It's really noticeable.
Yeah.
And particularly with younger people, millennials, Gen Z, they're really focused on personal wellness, not just aesthetics. They're actively looking for stuff that enhances physical performance.
Enhances how, specifically?
Well, things like better endurance.
Yeah.
Sustained energy through a workout, not just a quick hit. And interestingly, sharper mental focus too. Getting in the zone.
That's interesting you mentioned focus. It feels like it's moved beyond just general getting fit, hasn't it? The number of people doing structured sports, these intense training programs, marathons, CrossFit, It's huge now.
Oh, definitely.
Is that directly feeding this need for supplements? Or is it more subtle?
No, I think it's a pretty direct link, actually. As more people take on these really demanding activities, the need for targeted support just skyrockets. They're looking for supplements that genuinely help with stamina, muscle function, and crucially, recovery afterwards.
Mm.
So pre-workouts, they're shifting from being like an optional thing to, well, pretty much essential tools for a lot of serious athletes and even committed amateurs. It's about getting the most out of every single session.
Making every workout count.
Exactly. And another huge piece of this, connecting to the market growth, is the constant innovation and personalization. Brands aren't just churning out the same old stuff.
Right.
They're constantly developing these advanced formulas.
Hmm.
And they cater to all sorts of dietary needs now: vegan, gluten-free, sugar-free, even options without stimulants, which is a big growing area.
Stimulant-free. Interesting.
Yeah, and it goes even further. You've got products tailored for specific needs, maybe gender-specific formulas, or based on whether your goal is bulking up or getting lean, or just the intensity of your training.
Mm.
That kind of personalization, that tailoring, it just massively broadens the appeal, makes it relevant to way more people.
Yeah, that level of choice makes total sense for, today's consumer. Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting for me. Because that kind of rapid growth, it often comes with some serious growing pains, doesn't it? It's not all plain sailing, surely.
Yeah, not at all.
What are some of the big roadblocks, the challenges this industry is bumping up against right now?
You're right to ask that. Um, Health and safety concerns are definitely a big one, a really big one.
Oh, so?
Well, many pre-workouts pack a real punch with caffeine and other stimulants, high levels. And while that gives you the energy boost, yeah,
Yeah, the buzz.
right, the buzz. But it can also bring side effects for some people: anxiety, trouble sleeping, even heart palpitations. And perhaps more concerning for the really health-conscious consumer is,
Mhm.
well, sometimes you find unverified ingredients, or even things that are banned in sports.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it can happen due to maybe lack of tight quality control, or sometimes, frankly, less reputable manufacturers cutting corners.
And that connects to regulation, doesn't it? I feel like that's a huge piece of this puzzle. The oversight seems patchy.
That's a good word for it, patchy.
We've got really inconsistent rules in different countries. And even here in the US, the whole framework around supplements means they don't need that pre-market FDA approval like drugs do.
Exactly. The onus is often on the FDA to prove something is unsafe after it's already out there.
Which creates this weird situation, right? Freedom to innovate, sure, but also trust issues. It can lead to, well, unclear labeling, maybe dodgy health claims, side effects not being properly reported.
Absolutely. And that can seriously hurt a brand's reputation.
Mm.
It erodes consumer trust, especially, if you're dealing with professional athletes or people in healthcare who need absolute certainty.
Yeah, the stakes are higher there.
Definitely. And another barrier, this one more for the consumer perhaps, is just the cost and
Yeah.
accessibility.
Oh, right. The
Yeah.
price tag.
Yeah, the really premium supplements, the ones with clinically studied ingredients, high performance stuff, they often cost quite a bit. It puts them out of reach for, well, a lot of people.
Mm.
And then you've also got distribution challenges, particularly in developing regions. Getting these products into local gyms, pharmacies, the offline channels can be tricky. That slows down how widely available they are, even if people are interested.
Okay, so we've got this picture of like explosive growth driven by health trends and innovation, but also facing these hurdles around safety, regulation, and cost. So looking forward, what does this all mean for the future? What trends are really shaking things up and reshaping the pre-workout market?
One of those powerful shifts, I think, is this massive move towards clean label and natural ingredients. It's undeniable.
Clean label, meaning.
And
Mhm.
consumers today are just so much more ingredient savvy. They're reading labels carefully. They're actively looking for organic, non-GMO, plant-based options.
Right, less artificial stuff.
Exactly. It's a real demand, and it's pushing brands hard. They have to move away from artificial colors, sweeteners, preservatives. They need to embrace transparency, even sustainability in how they source things. It's a huge force in the market now.
Makes total sense given everything we hear about wellness. But then you mentioned innovation earlier, and I'm hearing a lot about nootropic infused pre-workouts. That sounds fascinating. It's not just physical energy anymore.
No, not at all. This is a really interesting development.
So these blends, they combine the usual energy stuff with what are they called? Cognitive enhancers like L-theanine, alpha-GPC. What's the actual benefit? Why are people going for this?
Right. So take L-theanine, which you naturally find in green tea. It seems to promote alpha brain waves,
Hmm.
That creates a feeling of calm focus, not just that jittery energy.
Ah, okay. Calm focus. I like that.
Yeah. And alpha GPC, that helps with acetylcholine production in the brain,
Hmm.
that a key neurotransmitter for things like memory, learning, focus, even muscle control.
Hmm.
So the result people report isn't just I have energy. It's more like improved mental clarity, better focus during the workout, maybe even a better mood. It's this kind of hybrid approach.
Body and mind.
Exactly. It really appeals to people who see fitness as, both a physical and a mental game, optimizing the whole system.
That's a significant shift.
It is. And sort of underpinning all this evolution is the huge role of digital retail and influencer marketing. Can't ignore that.
Right. Selling online and social media.
Yeah, online stores, fitness apps, social media influencers, they become incredibly powerful. They're not just selling, they're educating users, building communities, driving sales in new ways.
Like how?
Well, think about subscription models. So you just get your pre-workout delivered every month. Affiliate programs where influencers get a cut, and just tons of user-generated content reviews, videos, transformations. It's completely changing how brands connect with people and build that loyalty.
It really sounds like the pre-workout supplements market is just evolving incredibly quickly. You've got changing consumer habits, digitalization, science, all mixing together.
Absolutely, it's a truly dynamic landscape. Definitely a space worth watching, I'd say, for anyone interested in health, fitness, or even just how markets evolve.
Hmm.
The changes are fundamental.
So as we wrap up, here's something to think about. This increasing blend of mental and physical enhancement in supplements, how might that start to challenge our maybe traditional ideas about fitness? Could it push the boundaries of what we think of as natural performance? And what could that mean down the line for new products or even for the rules and regulations around what we consume? Lots to consider there.